Namaste everyone. Welcome to Chetna, My Health, My Wealth. And for those who follow the Vedic calendar, very happy Raksha Purnima to you all. According to the ancient Vedic scriptures, every Purnima or every full moon holds significant energy that impresses upon our physiology and most importantly upon our mind. We all have noticed how the tides in the ocean, they vary in accordance with the various phases of the moon cycle. An interesting fact is that the moon not only affects the tides and the ocean outside, but it also affects the vast water body that is within us, changing our bioenergies at a physical level and also at the levels of our psyche. And this is the reason many people express and experience heightened mental and emotional states during full moon. What this means is that if I have a very calm and meditative state of mind, during full moon time, I might experience a heightened experiences of more calmness, being more meditative. On the other side, if there is depression, anger, or some other negative thoughts and emotions within my mind, then even those could aggravate during full moon. Now, this brings me to the topic of today's discussion and presentation, which is our mind. So, friends, where do you think is mind located in our body? Is it located within the skull, the brain, or does it have any other designated location to show its functions? Ayurvedic text, Taoist medicine, Chinese medicine, and even the quantum science, all of them have elaborated upon this concept, the anatomy and the physiology of our mind. So anatomy courses that are taught, that we learn in most of the medical schools, they teach the physical structure, this physical body, whereas the non-physical subtle anatomy transcends the physical body into the realm of consciousness, which is Chetna. So the pure consciousness, which is essentially a form of energy, as it collapses its wave and energy form into from the energy and the wave form into a matter or particle form, it manifests as 5 different layers or 5 sheets, or it's also called as the Pancha Koshas. And these Pancha Koshas, as they are listed in the Ayurvedic texts, are the Annamaya Kosha, the Pranamaya Kosha, the Manomaya Kosha, Jnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. So there is a hierarchy depending on which is the most gross, which is the most particles, are the Annamaya Kosha, and as it becomes more and more subtle, it reaches the subtlest form, which is the Anandamaya Kosha. Now our mind resides in the layer of Manomaya Kosha, forming an interactive bridge between the two bodies, which are the Anandamaya Kosha and the Jnanamaya Kosha above it, and the middle portion is the Manomaya Kosha, and the two bodies below it is the Annamaya Kosha, which is the food and the physical sheath, and the Pranamaya Kosha, which is the vital force, the energy sheath. Our mind, the machine, the magical machine, the mind, is the fastest unit of all. I mean, the fastest traveling unit. I mean, if I think about Mount Everest right now, my mind, I've already reached Mount Everest at this very moment. Our mind is also intricately intertwined with all our 5 sense organs. For example, my hearing becomes listening once my mind is attached to it. Similarly, looking becomes seeing and touching becomes feeling through my mind. In other words, my mind brings meaning to the world I perceive around me. The Sanskrit term for mind is manas, and the term that we all know, mantra, actually has 2 components to it. So mana means manas, the mind, and tra, which means the vehicle or tool. Hence, mantra recitation carries within it a spiritual power to harness our thoughts within our mind. Through this chanting and repetition of those mantras, we are able to harness our mind. Then, once harnessed, the mind is able to channelize information and energy that is needed for health and healing. Mind is like a river. I mean, it's a river where thoughts flow. Every emotion that surfaces due to a thought process happening has a physical representation in the brain, resulting in a change of the neurochemistry of the brain within. For example, a happy thought, if I generate a happy thought, and emotion that follows the happy thought will produce happy chemicals, happiness chemicals in the brain. For example, dopamine or oxytocin, endorphin, serotonin, these are all the list of few of the happy chemicals. You could also view my other video where I do talk about these happy chemicals in much more detail. It's called the daily dose. And similarly, when the mind is generating a stressful thought and emotion, we do see an array of cortisol and other stress hormones being formed in the body. And also the repetitive experiences of stress or any intense impact on one's psyche could also create something that's called mental trauma, which takes hold on our subconscious mind, and that becomes really tough to erase. It's not impossible, but then yes, we do have to follow certain steps. Additionally, once it is really in a very deeper level, then they may also show up as physical symptoms that we called as psychosomatic disorders. And for this reason, during any homeopathic consultation where we are doing a constitutional analysis, the practitioner would inquire all the details of the symptoms that is pertaining to the physical body as well as the mental body and the emotional body. And when the remedy is selected, it is selected after a very deep evaluation and analysis of this whole unit of body, mind, emotions, thoughts, past traumas. And once we give the remedy, when we start seeing the changes, we start to see improvements on all these levels on the body, mind, and spirits. Now, as with the remedy, the homeopathic remedy, so similarly with meditation also, meditation or dhyan, as it is termed in Sanskrit, provides the energy and pathway to organize the flow of thoughts and emotions in the mind. So just like the food that we consume, The food has to go through a process of digestion, assimilation, and elimination, where the toxins are removed from the body. Very similar things happen in the processing of thoughts and emotions in the river of mind. So it does need a processing to go through. So such processing is achieved when meditating. We achieve that process. Whenever we're doing a dhyan, let's say, there are basically two key components, two key factors that come into play. The first one is the act of observation of those thoughts that flow with a state of emotion that is equanimous, which means that it's not reacting to the thoughts that's flowing, and we are just witnessing the thoughts. The second component that comes into play is the usage of music or mantra. So both of them combined, what it does in the processing process is that it dissipates that thought into the form of energy that goes back into the pure consciousness and gets dissolved and processed over there, rather than taking a seat as a physical form or as a matter form, which could potentially lead to a diseased condition. So a precursor to a healthy body lies in a healthy state of mind. A healthy state of mind, it's a pure mind which is devoid of ego self. What that means is that it's devoid of attributes like anger, hatred, jealousy, fear, worry, or all the negative thoughts. But on the other hand, because all these negative thoughts, they carry within itself a lower frequency, and that could lead to potentially a disease state or a ill health. On the other hand, frequencies which are higher, like joy, gratitude, calmness, creativity, connectivity, compassion, all these have higher frequencies embedded within them, and that's where health and healing flourish. So in the end, finally, I would like to conclude by saying that our mind holds two very strong powers: a power to construct and a power to destroy. And the choice, of course, it lies within us. Hope this video presentation was helpful for you and you could use the information for your own health and healing. I would love to have and read your thoughts, your comments, so please do share them with me. Until my next video, I wish you everyone once again a very happy Raksha Purnima. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for watching.